everyone. I wanted to thank you all for coming, and I'll start by showing you some statistics from the ASPCA. ASPCA, it stands for American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. They've been around for a long time helping dogs and cats. And actually in the United States we have 13,600 shelters nationwide in the whole country. And they house 7.6 million animals. 3.9 million are dogs and 3.4 million are cats. Now, I want you guys to imagine a big room with 1.2 million dogs, and I want you guys to imagine another room full of, with 1.4 million cats. Now, I also want you guys to imagine a room with 1.2 million dead dogs and the other room with 1.4 million dead cats. Can you imagine? That's a lot. A lot of animals are dying. And a lot of animals are dying because people have misconceptions. People think that, and I'm going to talk to you about 3 of them because they're most common. There are many more, but these 3 are most common. And the first one are, people think that dogs are too old. And there's no such a thing as a dog being too old. Caesar Miller is the dog whisperer. He has a TV show, it's called Caesar 911, and he is a specialist in dog behavior. He has rehabilitated like thousands and thousands of dogs throughout his career. So he knows his work, he knows what he's doing. He says that there's no such a thing as an old dog. Dogs are not moved by age. Dogs are moved by love. So if you teach your dog with love and patience, you will mold them. You will mold yourself a very good companion for the rest of your life because they're very loyalty. Another misconception, going back to dogs are too old, people think that shelters only have old dogs. Not true. Imagine, out of 3.9 million dogs, they're all old? No, they're not. So, if you go to a shelter, you're going to find there young dogs, older dogs, middle-aged dogs, and Dr. Benson, a well-known veterinarian that has worked with many shelters, guarantees that you will find dogs of all ages in the shelter. According to the new, I follow a couple of shelters on Facebook, but I like this one is special. I'll tell you the name in a minute. Friends of the Associated Humane Society shelter here in Newark. I like them because they do a very good job, and they have been doing this job for a long, long time. They're helping a lot of dogs and cats to find their forever home, as they call it. Some other day I was scrolling down and I found this post. They had a post up with only old dogs. And then this lady said, "Why is it that you guys only post pictures of old dogs?" Because of these misconceptions. Oh, it's hard for them to, older dogs don't get adopted as easy as younger dogs or puppies, so they have to do more propaganda for them. And that's why you see more older dogs on the internet or getting propaganda than you see for young dogs. Number 2, misconception. It's a myth. There's something wrong with them. First of all, out of those numbers that I told you before, 649,000 animals get to shelters as stray. They run away from home, they get lost, so people drop them at the shelter. The other half, I have it on top of my list, moving. People move a lot of times and they can't take their pets with them. Another reason, big reason, is changes in lifestyle. People get divorced, people get sick, people have babies, people lose their jobs, they cannot take care of their pets anymore. Guess what? They end up in shelters. Another one, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. When dogs get sick or cats get sick, people cannot take care of them or are not willing to pay for it. So they decide to abandon them instead of caring for them. So those are major reasons why dogs and cats end up in shelter, not because there's something wrong with them. And then the last one we're talking about would be they should not be given as a gift. Oh, I cannot give you a gift, a dog or a cat. No, not true. Says ASPCA. Again, ASPCA is conducted a scientific study and showed that 96% of dogs, 96% of pet owners that got their dogs as a gift reported having no problem to attaching to them, to loving them, or to getting the love back from them. And 80% of those animals stay in their home with those people. And these studies are also backed up by previous studies done in the late 90s, early 2000s, saying that dogs are most like dogs that are given as a pet are less likely to end up in shelters than dogs that are gotten from the pet owners themselves. So yeah, and there is this young lady called Julie Hasht. She published an article on Scientific American saying that before that she thought all of those. She thought that they shouldn't be given as pets. There was something wrong with them, or they were too old. Based on the studies done from the ASPS, she changed her mind and she decided to publish an article on the Scientific American saying that those are myths. So I think it's important. Information is important. When you know something, so next time, maybe one of you guys are thinking about getting a dog. So now you know that these are myths and misconceptions, and if you were in the dark, I hope I could, if I helped one of you tonight, then my job here was done. And think about it. Think about it if you ever want to adopt a pet. Changing the mind is saving your life. I would like to thank everybody for coming, and I wish you all a wonderful night.